In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Air Force Major Hillary Hedberg, and I'm honored to spend a few minutes with you on this Memorial Day. The poem I just read to you is perhaps one of the most well-known poems about war, and was written by Canadian Army Surgeon Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae after a particularly horrific day during the Second Battle of Ypres in Belgium in 1915. His words timelessly reflected the cruelty of war, so much so that the poppy has become an enduring memorial symbol. On the 100th anniversary of Armistice Day, I visited one of these Flanders fields and saw firsthand the enormity of the scene depicted in Lieutenant Colonel McCrae's poem. Though the passage of time heals the physical evidence of war, the sacrifice and loss endure and are what we remember on this day. This year is unique in the challenges we are facing, though the virtual nature of this year's ceremony has allowed me to join you from my current duty assignment at Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery, Alabama. It is important that we take time to reflect on the significance of Memorial Day, even though we cannot be together in person. Memorial Day, initially known as Decoration Day, was established by presidential decree on May 5, 1868. This day was an opportunity to decorate the graves of the service members who lost their lives in the Civil War. This day was especially somber for our state, as Vermonters remembered their loved ones who lost their lives in hard-fought battles in places like Antietam, Gettysburg, and Spotsylvania. Vermonters paid a high price to preserve our Union. As Americans continued to be called upon to serve in our nation's wars, Decoration Day became Memorial Day, as our country sought to recognize the service members who have sacrificed their lives in the First World War, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as the many smaller, unnamed wars in between. These brave men and women traveled to unknown places to protect the ideal of freedom for people they had never met, and they did so with complete disregard for their own safety. Right now, there are American service members in harm's way around the world who have answered their nation's call. Less than 1% of our nation's population serves today, and often few Americans have social or family ties to the military. Therefore, it is common that many Americans do not personally know someone who has worn the uniform. They may even be more familiar with Memorial Day as a much appreciated day off than as a day of remembrance. This is not meant as a slight to those people. It's simply recognition of the unintentional divide that forms between a small, all-volunteer force and the nation they serve. What I would say is that we all do have a personal connection, whether we recognize it or not. I vividly remember the first memorial I attended in Afghanistan, as well as the first time I watched a flag-draped casket pass by me as it was loaded on for its return flight home. So for me, this day is personal, but it can be for you too. These men and women who have given their lives are not from some mythical warrior class. They are your neighbors, your friends, and your classmates, all who stepped forward when their nation called upon them. It is our duty as citizens not to forget them. We bear the heavy responsibility of sending young men and women into harm's way. We must strive to be civic-minded, to understand the conflicts we are involved in worldwide, and to understand the true cost of war. No one understands these costs more than Gold Star families. Families who have lost a loved one in the line of duty and live with a profound loss every day. I ask that you keep them in your thoughts today. Keep them in your thoughts as they grieve for their loved one and adapt to their new normal while struggling with the constant reminder of their loss by the empty chair at the dinner table. While less than 1% of the American population serves in the armed forces, that does not excuse the remaining 99% of responsibility to our nation. I cannot think of a better way to honor the sacrifices of these fallen service members than to lead lives of service ourselves. This service can come in many forms, including serving your local community, caring for those in need, and actively working to make the world a better place. I think we've seen during the recent pandemic that even seemingly small acts of service can have lasting impacts on people's lives. As former President John F. Kennedy famously said at his inaugural address, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." Do not discount the power of being an informed and active citizen, one who works to make our country one that is worthy of the sacrifices of the fallen. I hope you are able to spend time with friends and loved ones today, even if virtually. Perhaps you may also spend time in quiet reflection at a memorial. All I ask is that however you intend on spending today, please take time to reflect on the gift of freedom and the service member's life cut short defending it. As I close, I'd like to reflect back on Lieutenant Colonel McCrae's poem and its call to action. Keep faith with those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice by keeping their memory alive and by living honorable, service-driven lives. I may not live a life worthy of their sacrifice every day. I am human and have selfish moments. But in the words of my alma mater, Norwich University, I will try. I will try to do small acts of kindness and place the needs of the whole above my own. I will try to pay tribute to those who have sacrificed for my freedom. I will try to honor the fallen by living a service-driven life. And I hope you too will try. Thank you.